All right.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another webinar from Visionaries NV and TH Dynamics. My name is Tom Boinski. I'm your friendly host today with my great guests from Silicon Valley, AI experts, and also my good friends from Stanford GSB lead program. Today, as usual, as every month, we're gonna discuss in a roundtable format topics related to AI and business. How can AI help small and medium business owners? How to embrace AI personally and also on the business professional work level. So stay with us and remember every month new guests, new discussion. You're always welcome to join. This meeting is not scripted. We're gonna improvise. I will moderate. I will ask questions. We're gonna discuss for 30, 45 minutes. This meeting will be recorded. What's very important, ask your questions. You can ask your questions with Zoom. We will pick one or two questions at the end of the conversation after half an hour. Okay. Let's move forward then. Welcome our guests. On my screen, first is Kuruba and Anand. So I'm gonna pass the mic to you guys. Friendly introduction from your side. Two sentence. Who are you? And as an expert consultant, what you do in your professional life? Kuruba, maybe you first.
Right. Well, hi, I'm Kiruba. I work in a regulatory space. It's environmental compliance and sustainability. For my company or my industry, I support the West region operational. Now, I'm a student of AI, and I am anticipating the use case towards efficiency and decision making. More importantly, where it can add value in the operations.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Kiruba. Anand, another expert from Silicon Valley.
Thank you, Tom, for this opportunity. Hello, everyone. I'm Anand Virani, based in Silicon Valley, and glad to be here. So, my background is that I'm an entrepreneur by heart, but a technology, industry professional by mind. Which means that I work in a corporation today called Entity Data, and my experience with AI is in a field called Edge AI, which at some point we will get to talk more about the difference between Edge AI and Cloud AI. But that's what I do at Entity Data. I'm a product manager, and just glad to be here. And thank you for joining.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the introduction, guys. Okay, let's move forward with the first question. Let's warm up with easy one. So I will start maybe with Anand. Any exciting news right now in AI field? What's so cool and interesting right now? You're reading about, learning about, and you see huge potential. Let's start with what's hot in AI right now.
Well, so I'll answer the question, what is hot in AI, from maybe the time frame of the last couple of weeks, because I'm sure if you ask the same question in 2 weeks, the answer will be very, very different. Just given the pace of developments in this field. But I think so if I look at just the last couple of weeks or maybe even a month, I think uh, the most probably the interesting development is what people are calling in the industry, and it's everywhere in blogs, but essentially this phenomenon called the cloification of AI, which has happened, which is essentially referring to when with the release of OpenClaw, which initially started as Claude, what is it, Open Claude or something, and then had to change its name a few times to finally get to Open Claw. Um, the essentially what is happening is there is a big shift in agentic AI, or the capabilities of agents, to be able to now get access to a lot more resources on people's machines, and essentially start to plug in with a lot of the tools that we use and software and services that we use today as just on our computers and our laptops, and start to actually do things, run pretty autonomously, and do a lot of tasks independently. So that is what the OpenClaw uh, agent brought into on the consumer side. And there was a lot of news around this. But what has really happened in the last few weeks or a month is a lot of the people in the industry saying, hey, you know what, how can we take these capabilities and bring them to businesses and enterprises? And I think that's where we've seen a lot of products being released, not just from the big guys like the Anthropics and OpenAIs. They've introduced features that bring in this open claw type experience into their products, but also a lot of other companies, labs, trying to bring out like Notion, Perplexity, trying to bring these features and capabilities. So yeah, I think that's probably from my perspective
So
most
Anand,
interesting.
so what do you think, like one biggest take from your side? How can a small entrepreneur pull maximum value out of this new trend, this Claw AI, this agentic
I-
AI, where when and where we actually giving real hands or claws to AI agents?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it's for small and medium businesses. It's essentially it's a very opportune time to jump into this and start to explore, how these some of these tools can be used. So again, just the open claw, using that as a tool, or that agent as a tool. There are certain additional steps that you need to think of in
Mm-hmm.
terms of being aware of some of the risks that come with OpenClaw, which again, if you just look up in the public domain, a lot has been written and said about it. Uh, but certainly, I would say start to look at some of the tools, like even if you're using some existing models, or just like Chat
Yep.
GPT or Claude Code. They have started to bring in these new features. So if you look at the latest versions of those, you can start to play around with them and get familiar.
Gotcha.
But I would
Oh,
definitely love to hear
uh-huh.
from Kiruba. I mean,
Yeah,
he's
Kiruba, what's your
has a
perspective? What's super hot right now for you, from your perspective? What are you using right now, and what others should also try? Maybe you have an experience with this OpenClaw.
Well, no, I haven't explored OpenClaw. But I did try personally, personal development and professional development side is where I use most tools. Enterprise-wise, it's focused on assistance at this point. That's where it's coming up, but it's not prevalent. Unfortunately, I can't say enough about where we need to ramp up B2B. But from personal experience, the vibe coding uh, made a non-IT person like me able to develop an API interface. And that's very prevalent now. Uh, Thanks to you, and we experimented something last year for the Replit, and more towards the actual usage. Right now, all the tools are being focused on yeah, in personal developments and
Hmm.
professional usages. So those brings in efficiency into the mix. I've seen that across the table, and we use that in enterprise level for training, which is very important. When I say training, it's more of presentations and focused trainings.
That's
So
that's
that's where
very
I
very
think,
nice. Yeah, Very nice
Yeah,
insight,
that
Kiruba. So if you could like give us like your idea how can I help save time in day-to-day business operations, like from the perspective of saving time. Let's use the value language. Let's focus on
yeah.
time. How can I as a as an entrepreneur can spend more time with my family? How can I basically use AI to pull more time off from my work?
Well, I did get in touch with a couple of companies who were trying to do something, and I was impressed by them focusing on developing a digital twin. It helps for critical infrastructure industries. It's harder to bring in or change the software or hardware infrastructure at once. Having a digital twin can affect the whole industry, so it can be
Interesting.
really helpful. Yeah, and it can be played with. It can be tested with. We go through a lot of projects, so the projects is where it can be really helpful. Hey, can this work? Can you try something new? And from my realm, it's more of a regulatory interpretation. So you asked me how it can help. Well, for the company, a digital twin would be really helpful. For me as a person, we spend more time gathering the data.
Can we define this virtual twin?
Yeah,
Not everybody probably is familiar with this one. Like in simple words, how you
yeah.
understand this concept?
Well, think of it as a day-to-day operation uh, in a physical industries functioning inside the software scale level. Uh, Now, what we do is, well, number one aspect of any industrial complex is safety. When I say physical safety, if we try something new outside, there is an implications associated with it. But a digital twin, if you try something there and we kind of see the path of hazards, that helps plan better and approach better
Hmm.
in a
Okay.
newer environment. Yeah.
Thank you for
And
this.
construction industries are very helpful too.
Okay, one more thing to you, Kiruba, regarding your specialty, compliance.
Yeah.
As we know, also small entrepreneurs are facing compliance and regulatory obligations. For instance,
Right.
HIPAA, SOC 2, and other very very simple ones of the bat, most popular ones. So how can I help me and my company comply with regulations?
Well, it's very nuanced, right? Because we still deal with agencies I mean, governing agencies and
Hmm.
entities, and everybody's not the same, even though regulations and regulatory frameworks are the same. So, adding those nuances, customizable frameworks is what's going to be really helpful there. That's where it becomes a problem because you can't take a regulatory framework and just apply it to everybody else. That doesn't work. You had to be customizable. So adjusting based on you mentioned about small and medium scale businesses, they tend to need more support on regulatory compliance.
Gotcha. Thank you very much for this, Kiruba. Anand, back to you. You are a product owner, product manager. You're working with products and of course customers, users. You are fully aware of how a good product that a customer would love should behave. Can you tell us a little bit about this one? How can AI help small business to get more customers with this product in the center? How can I help you with that? How can I help a product owner or a business owner or a founder to polish, fine tune, create this ultimate experience for customers?
Absolutely. And I mean, every business is essentially built around, some product and service. So absolutely, the product and services at the heart of all businesses. Um, I think so. Again, this is a very exciting time where small businesses and medium businesses, they can actually build products uh, very quickly because of some of the tools that are out there. but they can also, we I actually had my own startup for many years, which is why I made my introduction saying that I'm an entrepreneur by heart. Um, one of the things that as an entrepreneur, you have limited resources to launch your product. You're thinking of expansion. Now there is of course all the market expansion and all that going into different markets. But when you think of the product and just building more capabilities into your products, there are always these trade-offs that you have that, hey, will this new feature, and let's maybe take an example. Say you're a small business, just serving coffee. Okay, so you're like cafe,
Mm-hmm.
and your product is essentially your coffee and the experience that you built around it, right? Of serving this coffee, and the best coffee to your customers. Now, you're if you're thinking of, hey, you know what, should I actually introduce maybe a triple shot cafe? Considering that maybe people might be coming to my cafe a little bit more earlier. I see a lot of people coming in the morning, and maybe triple shot may be better for them, or I can sell more, charge more, make more money, and still meet that those customers' needs. So should I do a triple shot or not? Now, typically, you would actually go through an entire cycle of kind of introducing the product, first, maybe even talking to consumers, saying, hey, what do you think, right? I mean, is this something that you would want? So you might do some primary research, do some focus studies, and then bring that in, and then you say, okay, you know what, maybe I can try it out, do some experiment, and change my machine to be able to, which means I might need maybe a better machine, or like need to get some better coffee or something, right, to serve that. So you go through that experiment, then you try it out, and then you see if people are actually taking up for it, paying more for it, and all that. But that actually, let's say that cycle takes like 3 months or whatever it is, right? 3 to 6 months before you say, you know what, yeah, I'm going to make this a standard thing on my
Mm-hmm.
menu. And I think with AI, the ability to experiment is really, really reduced. So a lot of the tools that small businesses are using, one for research, just to be able to essentially get like a marketing agent, right? Kind of, if you, let's say, don't have anyone on your team, you have an agent, and this agent, the job is to go out, start to pull in data around triple shot. Other companies or businesses may have launched it, how it went, people's general feedback out there, and also start to reach out to your customers, and start to essentially send out surveys saying, hey, what do you guys think, right? So you have your marketing agent on your team. Now you say, you know what, yeah, maybe I need someone to actually simulate the coffee making experience. So
Mm-hmm.
you actually have a production agent, or your coworker, before even you hire someone to actually with that expertise, or train your own people. So you can do that. Have a production agent who actually simulates, like Kiruba mentioned, digital twin, which is essentially the ability to simulate real world objects and scenarios. I mean, that is a very powerful concept. So you can actually simulate this whole thing and see, hey, you know what, I mean, how much time does it take to actually make that triple shot? And you can run all these tests. Okay, if how can I shrink the time? Can I improve the process of maybe keeping the coffee right next to a triple shot machine or something like that? So you can do that, and then of course you can launch it, and take,
Mm-hmm.
again, your marketing agent takes over, saying, hey, now let me go back to those guys and get their feedback. What did you think? Would you continue to buy this? Are there any other preferences? So essentially this entire process can be really, really short circuited to like a few weeks even, right? Or maybe a month.
Very
And I
interesting,
think that's
Anand.
the real interesting part that I think for like small
Oh,
businesses, when you think of your
mm-hmm.
product, your experience, just getting it out there, I think it can add a lot of value.
Thank you for this. One more thing before you go, because we know you have to go in like 9 minutes. I would like to make a small follow up within this chain of thoughts. We're touching a very important matter here, decision making, and AI helping us making smart decision. I hope. So from your perspective, how can AI help business owners make better decisions in practical way? In what ways can we use AI for this process?
Mhm. Yes, you want me to take this first?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, it would be nice if you would like
Sure.
to follow up with this one.
Absolutely. I mean, I think decision making is ultimately, I mean, as a small, medium business owner, I mean, that is, the most or the biggest thing that you do in your day.
Hmm.
You're making many decisions, some big, hey, should I, expand my business to a different market, to small, hey, should I actually, get a better or a different coffee from a different supplier, right? I mean, so essentially, decision making is part and parcel of your everyday life. I think, yeah, so AI certainly, some of the things that I mentioned previously in terms of just being able to do better research. And,
Okay,
people
better
actually
research.
ask
Okay,
me,
better
hey,
research. Okay.
yeah, that's right. Yeah. So people ask me, hey, listen, I mean, we've had search engines, Google and,
Hmm.
others for many, many years. Like, why do we can we not continue to use those for just, research part? But you'd be surprised that so that with AI, with some of the tools which are out there, of course, there are, depending on your domain and business, there are dedicated research tools, like from even the big labs, and even Google has a bunch of tools for like deep research. But if, let's say, if you're just using the everyday AI tools, it actually, the ability to not just get the information, but having it presented to you in a form, and
Hmm.
essentially summarize it for you, so that you can quickly get the gist and take those decisions. I think that is another powerful feature of AI that I
Okay,
see
so
a lot of the.
deep research, and let's say perfect presentation, like in ideal presentation.
Yes, yes. Some, getting clear, concise summaries of,
Some
the
okay,
information that
gotcha.
you're looking to
Thank you
research.
for this,
Yeah.
Kiruba. What's your take on this? How can you, or how you actually using AI to make better decisions?
Well, now AI tools are influencing us, so it's already nudging us in that direction. My ask more towards would be the sandbox, right?
Hmm.
Because that's where we can experiment and without any data leaks. Because that's a primary concern for me. Because confidential or business data needs to be inside the sandbox, not outside. To your question, whatever helps us save time, reducing the drag on presentation and preparation is where it's helpful. So I want to take what deep research that Anand mentioned. Thank you, Anand, and try to do that. Try to use that on my daily life because efficiency is paramount at this point. And anything that increases efficiency and brings me back to my time to work on my priorities. That's what I'm focused on. Currently, enterprise tools are helping me with that, but personal tools are far ahead on that.
Okay, interesting. Thank you very much for this. So now let's move on to something different. Last question to you, Anand. A little bit about risks, but like no, there's always even a rose has a horn, so so we have to keep that in mind. So what are the risks of using AI for small and medium business owners, and how we should address such mitigate? So just let's discuss a little bit the risk side of the problem,
Yeah.
of the topic.
Yeah, no, I think the whole subject of risks is actually an important one, especially for AI. Um, we've had many tools in our history. And like any new technology that comes in, people typically think, oh, we now have a new tool in hand, right? Like, I mean, start with the internet or with the mobile devices, and being able to access information everywhere. And like, what, it's now I have this powerful tool. But AI is a little bit different, in my opinion. I think this AI goes way beyond just being a tool, and essentially, being taking on an identity, taking on essentially an action independently, right? And we see that with the agentic AI revolution, and more recently that I mentioned with the open cloudification of AI. Um, so certainly, I think it's important to think of risks in terms of risks to your own data, especially as some of these more recent agents, they have the capability of actually using your personal data, being able to move it around, send it into on messages to other people, and therefore they're much more connected with the environment, rather than just being isolated in one environment. So I think definitely, risk to data is one of them. The other is, I think, just risks in terms of, so all the information that you get, as even as part of like research, what we were talking about, I think there's always a good practice to just check for the references, because now, I mean, that was the reason why we have all these references with everything that, let's say, a chat GPT is able to put out today, is because initially that was missing, and there was a lot of backlash a few years ago or maybe longer on just data being inconsistent or wrong, right? So now it's all references. So I would say still check references when you get all this, nicely summarized information. And I think finally, I would say just be aware of some of the risks in terms of more, just not the data security, but just security in general. Giving access inadvertently to your machine, or to your to essentially your agent. So I would say, I mean, these are the broad risks that we should all be aware of. But yeah, definitely, I think would love to. Kiruba will have a lot more
Of course,
experience
yes,
given
yes.
overview.
I will definitely ask about data privacy. That's the next question to
Yeah.
Kiruba, of course. Anand, thank you for today. I know we have a hard stop, so thank you much for joining us today, and feel free to join us next month.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you,
will.
Anand.
Once
Thank you,
again,
Anand.
Tom, thank you very
Thank you
much.
very much.
Thank you, Anand. It was very informative. I appreciate your insights
Thank
on
you.
open cloud. We'll continue to converse.
Yeah,
Absolutely, Kiruba. Thanks again, Tom.
thank you. Kiruba, back to you. Okay, so let's move
Yeah.
on within this topic of risk, potential risk associated with AI, and
Hmm.
that's your specialty. I would like to ask you about data privacy. So, how important
Okay.
is data privacy when using AI tools? Whatever AI tools we're using, and all the data we're putting in. So I would like to hear your story, your take on this one.
Right. I think I kind of answered that a little bit with the sandbox part, where you get to, well, with the data, I'll go to sensitive side, not privacy side, um, because sensitive is more for my purview.
Hmm.
From that end, I see the data as has to be a coherent pattern, right? It needs the validation, it needs identification, and it
Hmm.
needs it is a parameter for some performance, and it could be monitoring data. So combination of this sequences create scenarios. For me, that's what I'm looking for. The scenarios could be normal operation. It could be an abnormal operation. Now, that's where it becomes more of a predictive nature. And I'm going deeper into the data side, but bottom line is the predictive side is where machine learning, power automation, and helpful enterprise business decisions can happen. On the other side of it, it that can be misrepresenting same information in a different format. If it is happens through a data leakage, when I say the data leakage, it's more of if you put all the data without the coherent sequences of events into a model, it's going to use that as a reference. Unfortunately, it's not validated, so it could be an echo chamber sometimes. Now that's more of actual usage. From safety concerns, sensitive data gets leaked, and when we input it, and that's where a human in the loop can become a trouble. Because we tend to, and Anand emphasized that very well.
Yeah, this is very important. This human in the loop. Everybody's preaching about this one. We can hear about this one a lot. How you perceive this one? What's very important from you? How would you address this in practical way?
Right. We need to have a process before the human in the loop part. That's where from my purview, my aspects, business from day-to-day operation, I would say, okay, it needs to be helpful for business. It needs to add value. That means you have to have a process of taking that in. Now, how do we divulge back to the public forum, right? That's where the sensitivity comes from. Small and medium businesses are quick to market needs than medium to large enterprises. So that's where it can be really helpful to have a strategy, number one, and a process of what the data means for you and how you want to keep the human actually elevate the data. Now, you talked about privacy. There's identifiers that comes to data. How you choose to interpret that is also matters. So,
okay.
Now those are all generic.
Okay, thank you, Kruba. Reminder to our viewers: drop your questions. If you have questions, drop your questions. You can click. I think we have this feature on. Question answer. Yeah, please drop your question in the Q&A section. We're gonna take some questions. I have last question to Kiruba, and then we're gonna take a question from the audience. If not, I will ask last one question, and we're gonna move forward with our daily routines. Okay,
Yes,
so Kiruba. One last question to you, because you're somehow combining both environments, small, medium, and enterprise level. From your perspective, how can a solo entrepreneur compete with a bigger company? And how can we leverage AI in this case, in this scenario? How can my company be more competitive on the market with AI?
Well, Anand has the entrepreneur mind. I miss him on this.
You have more
But
enterprise mind, so think
well,
about your weaknesses. Think about your weaknesses and how can small business compete?
Well, proof of concept, right? At the end of the day, if you prove the concept, it doesn't matter one man show. This is where I'm going to take for a value from what Anand mentioned. The go-to-market from product to market is actually much faster thanks to agentic AI. Now, how can you keep it successful competing with large? Well, think of it as a collaboration instead of competing with large enterprises. Because large enterprises needs a lot of support, right? And you're competing as a boutique. large enterprises may not go after small and medium enterprises. So that's a niche field that is applicable as well. And this is where I'm kind of a hopeful and skeptic about artificial general intelligence. So the next scale of that would be coming through solo entrepreneurs and small entrepreneurs, because that's the ABCs that's going to build us to the next, well, not next, the next level of intelligence, which is what I'm really hopeful for artificial general intelligence, which practically could end up replacing my role. And if I don't participate in that, then we are not competing against the large
Gotcha.
enterprises.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
think about what you want and do the deep research.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
Thank you very much, Kiruba. We have multiple questions. I will take one question, a very simple, practical one. Kiruba, what should I use as an entrepreneur, and for what should I pay? So, is there
Oh,
any specific tool on the market which
uh,
is really a good deal for good value for your money? What can you recommend for a business owner?
well, I'm well, as a partaker in business, not as an entrepreneur, I could say where it adds value is time. So if it saves time,
Time,
and
okay.
that's going to be, yeah, time. If you save time, that's where it becomes more valuable. Um, I'm going to leave it
Okay.
at that.
Okay. Thank you, Virg. Okay, we have a question from John. Thank you, by the way, John, for this one. Which industries are being the most disrupted by AI in 2026? Is there any industry that doesn't use it? I will take this one first, John,
Please.
before Kiruba will contribute. John, there's fresh research from Anthropic. I'm just gonna look for it and I'm gonna drop the link in the chat in a second. There's a link. Anthropic, the company, the creators of Claude AI, probably you all know this one. One of the biggest players on the market. They conducted a research, a very extensive research, some time ago. It's like a 1 month or 2 months old research about impact of AI on the job market, and basically they created some kind of a mapping of a current situation on across multiple roles, multiple domains, industries, and how people are actually using AI right now and what are the capabilities to grow. So where the roles even can grow. So it's very interesting research. I will drop this in a second. And one more thing, just off the bat in my head. There's another thing which is very popular right now in social media, LinkedIn, people sharing this. There's a tool, totally free tool, open source tool available through GitHub, and the tool is also live. Maybe it's not live right now because so many people are using it. There's like a global research also about AI impact on workforce. I will also try to get this link in a second. So two links for you to guys to share practical things from me. Now my answer. How I perceive this. Also, like maybe I don't want to claim I'm an AI expert, but so a heavy user for sure, using AI for personal and business reasons. So from my perspective, I would say everywhere where we can see simple tasks, simple work effort conducted by workforce, which is on the combination of office work, mostly in back office, with a lot of manual input, repetitive input, with a lot of toil, a lot of time consuming simple activities. That's the place for AI to step in, to digest all the data, process the data. I in multiple ways process the data, pull insight, summarize, categorize, orchestrate the whole data corpus, data warehouse, whatever you're gonna use behind. but that's something we're seeing right now. So intersection of small simple office tasks. I would like to call this office because like still we're not we're not seeing real robots on the streets, on the sidewalks. We only see some small little machines delivering food for now, but not like real robots. That's the future. But when we're speaking about typical office job, sitting in front of the screen at your desk with like multiple repetitive tasks, simple tasks, like from like even like I will give you like a very simple example. Imagine a company and you're working on multiple screen using multiple desktop agents, different applications. You have to copy paste from one to another, like trust and safety, maybe like customer service. AI is perfect for this. AI will definitely optimize the back office flow of multiple processes, simple processes with repetitive work, and that's the biggest thing which is actually happening. So repetitive tasks, boring tasks, which are not bringing too much value to our business. So we can see some optimization here. Kirba, back to you, and I'm gonna drop those two links in the meantime.
So, it. So I'm talking about the AI disruption
Yes,
in
from the chat,
2026.
in the chat, yeah, yeah.
I want to say not in my industry because mature industries are focusing on strategies rather than impacts, disruptions, because they're not impacted immediately. But the software industry obviously is different. I'm not from software industry, so I'm not going to talk about it, which is what Tom mentioned, the 2028 roadmap research. That is impacting all the services industries, in my opinion. I want to just look at that.
Mm-hmm.
But what is a breakthrough? What breakthrough in AI should be expected in like 5 years? This is where I'm rooting for artificial general intelligence, but I am not. Uh, I'm an optimist. There is a skeptic in me, but my optimists say in 5 years we may see the next level of artificial general intelligence.
Okay, okay, okay. Thank you very much for this, Kiruba. So, two links from me. You can see those links in the chat. Link number one, this is the direct link to the Anthropic research, labor market impact. Very, I would say, very important paper to read, and believe me, that's gonna be the best thing you're gonna read today. Second link is Carpati.io. This is like a, let's call it like very popular AI expert who created a live tool to track job roles under heavy AI pressure. It's working right now. It's live. So if you're gonna click this second link, it's called US Job Market Visualizer, and it's tracking across US, the whole US job market. It's tracking all the roles which are under pressure. Okay, so this one is very informative. Okay, do we have any more questions? Let me just see. Let me see. I saw a lot of times linking people are against AI. Did you also saw it? Okay. Very interesting, Pavel. Thank you for this. Let's take this one. Against AI. Who are against AI? Of course, all the people who are working those boring jobs which are under heavy pressure, of course they're gonna be against it. And the let's say the brutal truth is that yes, AI will reduce workforce somehow. We're still learning about this, but the thesis is very strong, and of course there's something behind this. So AI definitely will reduce the workforce, but also AI will somehow create new roles. AI will also extend some roles and also positively impact some roles. So we can say in general that AI is bad for the workforce because it impact in a negative way. So there is no straightforward simple answer to this one. What I can tell you what I can tell you from my perspective, what I see as a, now I'm switching my hat to a startup founder, to a business owner. I'm switching my hat to this one, not as an AI expert. What I can see, and this is really, really, I would say a little bit scary. I would say AI is killing a lot of SaaS startups in the meaning of making them irrelevant because you can achieve more with just simple prompt, just off the bat. AI video creation or face picture like portrait creation apps. In the past, there were dedicated apps using LLMs models over API integrated to create something. Multiple companies were creating, like, create a clip for that, movie for that, make an ad of your product very fast, or create your portrait picture very fast for your social media, whatever. And then what? Suddenly, all those big companies, those providers, I don't wanna put the names here, but they also created features like this, so you could easily prompt in a casual section, upload your picture, and hey, Jedi, create a new version of me for LinkedIn as a happy professional, whatever. And now we can do this, by the way, even for free, using like a popular available tool from the big players. So this metaphor is basically the explanation of things I'm seeing right now. We all witness this process. A lot of well-known products as software as a service, which are for generic purposes, are under huge pressure from any generative AI LLM. Kiruba,
Well, it's
closing
more of your
remarks.
forte.
Closing remarks. Yeah, we are.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, thank you for having multiple caps, Tom, and thank you for having me here. I
Thank you very
want
much,
to
of course.
continue to be a learner of AI. I'm more of a user and looking optimist, and there is a skeptic in me uh, about the same. So I'm going to keep them all alive. Thank
Okay.
you for having me.
Thank you very much, Kirba. Have a nice day, and thank you for joining us today. Much appreciated. Remember, in a month time, feel free to join us as an expert during next panel. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. This video will be recorded and posted shortly. Thank you, Paulina, for your support today. Over and out. Have a good day.